just had a wild sex party that got shut down by the police station last night.
Hello.
Oh, ma'am.
Yes, you did. Yes, you did. Why is your neighbors complaining about the sex that goes on in your household?
There was no going on.
How
No,
you know
read
you're
the police report. If you want
that you weren't just acting a fool because you so mad at him that you would cheat your child out of a father. What you cheering? I'm a single mother with nobody that loves me or my child. What you cheering for?
I'm not.
No, you were.
I paid child support $1,700, $1,000.
So how come you didn't take that $1,500,000 and pay for a DNA test when before I turned 36?
The air thickens with tension as Ms. McBirth launches into her accusations. She claims Ms. Jackson defamed her on social media, calling her family deadbeats. This juicy bit adds a spicy layer to the already heated paternity dispute. You won't believe what comes next.
You petitioned the court for a DNA test to prove your son, Keitho Hughes, is not the father of Miss Jack's 2-year-old son, Elijah Jackson. Suing Miss Jackson for $1,000 for defamation of character because you claim she posted comments on social media claiming you and your family are deadbeats. You say Ms. McBirth has been poisoning her son by convincing him he's not the biological father of your child.
Just when you thought it couldn't get more heated, Ms. McBirth lets fly with some choice words for Ms. Jackson, dubbing her trash, trouble, and trifling. The gloves are off and the mudslinging has officially begun, but wait, there's more spice coming right up.
This woman is trouble. She is trouble with a capital T. She, as a matter of fact, I call her the 3 T's. Trash, trouble, and trifling. That's what she is. The little boy looks nothing like my son or any member of my family at all.
Things get real as Ms. McBirth whips out a photo, claiming the kid bears zero resemblance to her son. She's determined to prove that her son isn't the father of Ms. Jackson's child. Buckle up, as Ms. Jackson's comeback is just around the corner.
This is a photo of your son and the child in question,
Right.
and you say the child looks nothing like your son.
That baby white as snow. There's no way that could be my grandchild or my son's baby. He has no features like none of us. Nobody in my family look like that.
And just by looking at this child, you've determined and said to yourself, do not believe that's my
That
grandchild.
can't happen. There's no way.
Ms. Jackson fires back, defending her child's paternity with a passion, suggesting that looks can be deceiving, especially with kids. She's not just going to sit back and take these accusations. The tension builds. Grab your popcorn for the next part.
Obviously, you have a different opinion. So why do you think she's in so much doubt over your child?
I have no idea, to be honest. Maybe because he is so white.
Because he all the white. He ain't got no black in here. Everything I see got powder puff on it. I don't see no chocolate nowhere, okay?
No, ma'am.
Whatever.
The plot thickens as Ms. McBirth and her crew double down on their accusations, painting Ms. Jackson as a serial deceiver. The courtroom turns into a battlefield of words. The scene is set for more revelations.
Was he the only person you were intimate with during that time?
Yes, ma'am.
She knows she lying. She lying.
Has been in our life. She's never was a girlfriend. You are a vampire. You are just a fly-by-night. We didn't know anything about you. He's been in a relationship for 10 years.
Mr. Hughes has.
10 years.
10 years.
Baby.
He's been
by
in a relationship
another
for 2
woman.
years.
And
For 10
those
years.
are my children.
For 10 years. So all she basically was for him was a snack cake on the side of his meal.
In a shocking plot twist, Ms. McBirth turns the heat on her own son, admitting he's no angel either. This surprising admission throws a curveball into the proceedings. The courtroom's about to turn up the heat even more.
You just had a wild sex party that got shut down by the police station last night.
Hello.
Oh, ma'am.
Yes, you did. Yes, you did.
Hoes in this house.
Why is your neighbors complaining about the sex that goes on in your
There was
household?
no going on.
How
No,
you know
read
you're
the police report. If you want
You're very tough on Miss Jackson. Do you have anything to say about your son's behavior?
Know exactly what type of person he is. He just as trifling as she is.
Judge dives deep, questioning if another twist in the family tree could explain the child's paternity. Could there be another potential dad in this tangled web? Things are about to get even messier.
For your son to be kissing an innocent child?
Because it's not his.
It doesn't matter, really, if he's showing the child love.
not his.
Brother is sleeping with her and not using protection. Couldn't he possibly be Elijah's father?
Not in this case.
Like the old saying goes.
No.
Ms. Jackson lays it all out, trying to clear the air about who the daddy might be, with a timeline that could rival a soap opera plot. She's standing her ground, but the true test is just moments away.
Were you having your son Elijah call someone else daddy?
No, man. When he sees somebody like my son sees somebody, because he's not, I mean, he's around, but he's not there every day. And so when my son sees like a tall, light-skinned guy with a head on, he's like,
No, that man was black.
no,
that man was
no.
black as my mom. You liar.
You were, wait, call someone else daddy, or you were?
He knows when he sees him, he knows, oh, daddy. He knows that's his daddy.
As we edge closer to the big reveal, the anticipation in the courtroom is palpable. Everyone's on the edge of their seats waiting for the DNA results that promise to blow the lid off this family pot. The moment of truth is about to drop.
And whether Mr. Hughes is the father, Mr. Hughes, you are Elijah's father.
That's a lie. That's not true. What is
Strap in, because this is where the drama kicks off. The case opens with Mr. Dark painting Ms. Bailey as the villain of the piece, accusing her of promiscuity and deceit. He passionately denies being the father of her 11-month-old son, despite a past fling and the lingering shadows of a broken heart. He describes the devastating heartache that's led to today's courtroom showdown. But you'll want to stick around to see how Ms. Bailey flips the script.
Mr. Dark, you say the defendant is a promiscuous liar who broke your heart 4 years ago out on your then relationship. You admit to having a one-night stand with her 2 years ago. Furious, Bailey is now claiming you fathered her 11-month-old son, which you say is impossible.
Here's where the plot thickens. Ms. Bailey vehemently counters Mr. Dark's narrative, insisting he's unmistakably the father of her son Jimmy. She portrays him as a classic deadbeat dad, fully aware yet neglectful of his paternal duties. The emotional stakes skyrocket as both parties vehemently defend their versions of their rocky past. But wait, there's more. Mr. Dark's bombshell revelation is just around the corner.
You say Mr. Dark is a deadbeat who knows full well is your son Jameer's father. You claim there is no way anyone but Mr. Dark could have fathered your son. Mr. Dark, why would you call Ms. Bailey a promiscuous liar?
I've been knowing Miss Bailey for probably about 7 or 8 years, and she's had a history of things like this.
You won't believe this twist. A pivotal moment unfolds when Mr. Dark shares a tale of betrayal, revealing that while he was away, Ms. Bailey's best friend spilled the beans about her infidelity. This juicy tidbit adds layers of distrust and betrayal to their saga, complicating the emotional landscape. Mr. Dark talks about his struggle to forgive, revealing the depth of his emotional wounds. Brace yourself, because the dispute about the dates is about to get dicey.
What happened to your relationship with Ms. Bailey at that point?
I tried to work past it, again, because of the things that we had already discussed, of us being a family and us trying to work things out, possibly us getting married or whatever the case may be, but I tried to work it past for about approximately a year or so.
How is it you came back together? Because Jameer is 11 months old.
We never stopped dealing with each other along the way. Even though we separated, we still occasionally seen each other every 2 months, 3 months or so.
Get ready for some detective work. The courtroom turns into a scene of a math puzzle as they dive into conception dates and past encounters. Mr. Dark meticulously argues that the math just doesn't add up. Challenging the timeline, Ms. Bailey presents with precision and skepticism. This critical analysis raises serious doubts about the paternity claim. Up next, Mr. Dark explains how deeply he's been involved in Jimmy's life, despite his reservations.
Seen each other and had sex, or
Yes,
just
ma'am.
seen each other
Still
and
was
said
having
hello?
unprotected sex sometimes, yes, ma'am.
You kept having sex until
2016.
It was like early March.
you have sex and you didn't use protection.
No.
ma'am.
When was Jameer born?
November 13th.
And you're saying the last time you were really intimate was around, if Jameer's birth date is November 13, 2010.
You'll want to see this emotional roller coaster. In a heart-wrenching recount, Mr. Dark details his involvement in young Jimmy's life, even amidst swirling doubts about his paternity. He shares touching moments from the hospital and his ongoing engagement in the child's life, showcasing a conflict between his heart and his doubts. This poignant moment sets the stage for yet another twist. Ms. Bailey's complicated history with paternity is about to come to light.
I'm sorry?
And she
I
had
had
early.
him early. Like, I was due November 30th.
Oh, what a 30th.
So what you're saying, Mr. Dark, is this doesn't add up.
No, ma'am, no kind of way.
Because you weren't intimate until the second week of March. And
The first week, around the 6th or 7th of March.
with the calculation and the date she's using, Mr. Dark, you're saying this pregnancy would only been 8 months pregnant when you
Yes,
all
ma'am.
were intimate in
She
March.
had to be already pregnant. And so I guess I was just a crutch.
Here's where history seems to repeat itself. We learn about Ms. Bailey's troubling pattern with paternity disputes, revealing previous instances where fatherhood was questioned among her children. This backstory adds a rich layer to her character, suggesting a cycle of similar challenges. As this bombshell sinks in, keep your eyes peeled. Mr. Dark's current girlfriend is about to throw another wrench into the works.
Were you intimate in February during the window of conception we outlined between February 17th to February 24th? Both of you said no. So, Miss Bailey, I must ask you respectfully, who were you intimate with during that time?
No
in
one.
February?
No one. I haven't had sex in February. No one.
Was the baby a full-term baby?
Yes, he was.
Things are heating up. Wait till you hear this. Mr. Dark's current girlfriend steps up to the stand, adding her own twist to the tale with claims about her own pregnancy and doubts about Jimmy's resemblance to Mr. Dark. Her testimony shakes up the courtroom, injecting new opinions and emotions into the already turbulent proceedings. And just when you think it can't get more intense, much anticipated anticipated DNA results are about to drop.
Thank you for joining us. You are what relationship to Mr. Dark?
I'm his current girlfriend and I'm pregnant with his child.
What would you like to tell the court?
Well, first, in my personal opinion, I don't feel like the baby looks like him.
So you do not feel like there is a physical resemblance. What else do you know about the paternity situation?
Well, my due date is November 19th. My conception date is February 24th.
The big reveal is here, and it's a game changer. As the DNA results are read aloud,
it has been determined by this court. Mr. Dark, you are the father.
Buckle up, here we go. Ms. Miller steps into the courtroom with a bombshell, asserting that her ex-fiancé, Scotty Rasmussen, who has been nothing short of a weekend warrior driving over hill and dale to see his daughter, isn't actually the father. Despite his unwavering dedication, she's been battling it out in court, repeatedly denied the DNA test that could end this saga. This opening salvo sets us up for what promises to be a roller coaster of legal drama. You'll want to stick around because the twists are just starting.
Ms. Miller, you're here to prove to your ex-boyfriend, Scotty Rasmussen, that he is not the father of your 3-year-old daughter, Zaylee Rasmussen. You claim you've been in an ongoing court battle over custody and have petitioned the court several for DNA tests, all of which have been denied. Mr. Rasmussen, you claim the real reason Ms. Miller is denying your Zaylee father is because she hates you.
Next up on this courtroom carousel, Mr. Rasmussen lays it all out, convinced that Ms. Miller's denials are fueled by sheer spite rather than fact. He talks about his epic treks, driving back and forth over 160 miles each time just to catch a glimpse of his daughter, spending more on gas than some people do on rent. His recounting paints a picture of a man not just fighting traffic, but battling for his role as a father. Hang on, as the plot thickens even further up ahead.
She just doesn't want me to have visitation. I drive 150 miles every other weekend just to pick up my daughter and drop her off. That's about 10,000 miles. That's wear and tear on my car. She doesn't have a driver's license. She doesn't have any way to bring her to me. She doesn't have any way to meet me halfway. She hates me because at the end of the relationship, when things got rocky, I'll admit it, I did go to another woman. I'll be the first to admit that. You know, it was my mistake.
Is that true, Ms. Miller?
No.
And just when you thought it couldn't get more tangled, Ms. Miller throws a curveball that could rewrite the whole storyline. She explains with a timeline tighter than a drum that when little Zaylee was conceived, Mr. Rasmussen was probably gambling away in Vegas, not exactly playing the family man. This revelation introduces the shadowy figure of another man, throwing a wrench into what Mr. Rasmussen thought was a closed book. Watch as we dive deeper into this soap opera.
When she was conceived, he wasn't even in the same state, Vegas. And at that time in March, I wasn't even with him. I was with somebody else because he broke up with me because he cheated on me.
We've gotten the fact that you two have an on and off relationship that has infidelity woven through.
Hold on to your popcorn, folks. Mr. Rasmussen passionately recounts his dedication from prenatal appointments to the delivery room, painting himself as Father of the Year. However, Ms. Miller counters with a less flattering picture, suggesting he was more interested in his laptop than labor pains, highlighting their clashing perspectives. Their shared history is as stormy as a soap opera, with accusations flying faster than a reality TV finale. What comes next? Well, it's about to get even juicier.
I went up to my manager, my immediate supervisor, said, hey, I gotta go, my girlfriend's in labor. I went home, quickly changed my clothes, and I drove about 45 miles through a winded, wooded road in Wisconsin in December, mind you, so it was about a foot of snow on the ground. I made it to that hospital in less than 35 minutes, beat her to the hospital. To the moment she was discharged, I called my boss at work and said, take some days off. I don't care if you fire me or whatever, but I gotta stay here. My daughter's being born.
Gear up for more courtroom gymnastics. The discussion shifts gears to the nitty-gritty of child support. Despite the swirling doubts about his paternity, Mr. Rasmussen has been footing bills and fueling up for visits, showing his commitment isn't just financial, but deeply personal. This segment lays bare the complexities of love, money, and paternity entangled in a legal tug-of-war. Stay tuned, the emotional climax is up next, and it's a doozy.
Why was it that you were keeping this information so close to your hip 5-6 months after Zaylee was born?
The more she grew up, the more I started noticing more of her features, the more she started looking like the other.
She looks exactly like I did when I have a picture of me when I was 3 and a picture of her from just the other day.
Let me see that. Will you hand that to me? And so this is a picture of Zaylee on the left and you as a child, Mr. Rasmussen, on the right.
That is correct, Your Honor.
Prepare for the emotional earthquake. The tension peaks as the DNA results are finally unveiled.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Rasmussen, you are not. Miss Miller.
I'm sorry.
Miss Miller.
I'm sorry.
You just showed me where your priorities were right there. Because I held out hope that you weren't just acting a fool because you so mad at him that you would cheat your child out of a father. What you cheering? I'm a single mother with nobody that loves me or my child. What you cheering for?
I'm not.
No, you were.
Can you believe we're kicking off with this? The episode opens with formal greetings and introductions in the courtroom. Jerome, the court officer, gets a shout out from Judge Lake, setting a formal yet welcoming tone. Ms. Garnett, alongside her mom, steps up as the plaintiff, aiming to prove Mr. Langston is her biological father, a fact she's sure of despite his doubts. Just when you think it's a typical courtroom scene, the plot thickens.
Hello, Your Honor.
Hello.
This is a case of Garnett versus Langston.
Thank you, Jerome. Good day, everyone. Ms. Garnett, you and your mother, Ms. Miller, have opened your case to defendant that he is your biological father because you consider him a daddy and a best friend, state his doubt is unwarranted, and demand an apology once the results are revealed.
What a curveball right at the start. Mr. Langston throws in his own twist by doubting he's Ms. Garnett's dad and is adamant he deserves an apology after the results are in, adding a serious layer of tension. This whole drama traces back to a bombshell text message, igniting a wildfire of family secrets and drama. Fasten your seatbelts. The evidence up next is juicy.
You claim you have always known you weren't Ms. Garnett's biological and feel after the results are revealed, you are the one who deserves an apology. Now, how did this all start?
It started with a text message about a couple months ago. That wasn't the very beginning, but this is why we're here. It's brought us here, and this is the evidence that I brought in today.
Did that just happen? Ms. Garnett dives deep, sharing her struggle to connect with Mr. Langston, exposing his cold shoulder and a mysterious text that hinted at hidden family skeletons. This charged moment highlights her need for closure and the tangled webs within their family tree. Get ready, because the emotional thermostat is about to go up a notch.
Almost 2 years of reaching out to my father after visiting him in 2000. I pleading to get him to respond. He wasn't responding, and he finally responded with this message.
So I think your mother blanked me and you about your birth father being me. He was missing around when you. I don't want to keep causing you pain, but I have mixed feelings about it. Talk to your mother and find out the truth.
This part is a doozy. A major turn happens when Mr. Langston admits to a nagging suspicion about not being the father ever since Ms. Garnett was born, sparking questions about why he pulled back emotionally. Ms. Garnett reminisces about their close bond, which was mysteriously disrupted, leaving her confused and heartbroken. Stay tuned. The next part tugs at the heartstrings even more.
Well, I wasn't talking to her like I normally do.
Why?
Because I was just harboring this that I had read from the beginning, that she's not my daughter. I had it read from the beginning when she was born. Yeah, I did.
Miss Garnett, you grew up as a daddy's girl. You say he's your best friend.
He's always been my dad. I've always known him to be my dad. When I became around 21 years old, that's when we started really becoming close.
This segment really turns up the heat. As the court digs deeper, Mr. Langston recalls incidents that fueled his doubt, including a suspicious scenario involving Ms. Garnett. This exploration into their family dynamics, misunderstandings, and the shadows of mistrust reveals layers you wouldn't believe. And just when you think it can't get more intense, the upcoming climax will knock your socks off.
When the baby was born, Miss Garnett, did Mr. Langston participate in the birth?
Not at all. He didn't have, he was just not that type of person. I didn't even expect it.
Did he sign the birth certificate?
No.
I paid child support, $1,700, $1,000.
So how come you didn't take that $1,500,000 and pay for a DNA test when before I turned 36?
You'll need to sit down for this one. The DNA test results come in, and boom, Mr. Langston is not the biological father. This bombshell sends shockwaves through the courtroom, leading to an outpouring of emotion from Ms. Garnett. Her reaction cuts deep, spotlighting her shattered sense of identity and the high stakes involved. The aftermath? It's even more heartrending.
In the case of Garnett versus Langston, 36-year-old Shauna Garnett. Mr. Langston, you are not the father.
Are not the father?
He is not her biological father.